Tremendous to have all of you and your families back. It is so fun to see you and your families and your growing families, and we welcome you sincerely back to the Baylor campus. 4 of you guys are going to come forward now and represent your teammates. So come on forward. Eddie Lackey, linebacker, all Big 12 linebacker. 2 years here at Baylor. Eddie, come on forward. Grab one of them, whatever you want. Clay Fuller played baseball, then came to Baylor. Receiver, come on up, Clay. Spencer Drango, back-to-back All-American offensive lineman for Baylor. Spencer, come on up. And Levi Norwood, two-sport man for Baylor. Football and basketball, receiver, return man, Levi Norwood. All right, guys. You know, y'all are great. Can I just start by saying y'all are great, and it's so cool to have you here and to have your teammates, so many of your teammates here, and your families. Let's start with that, all right? Families. Clay?
John, thanks for having us, Baylor. First of all, thanks for inviting all of us back. It means a lot to us as a team, and we're really excited to be here. But family-wise, my beautiful wife, Mackenzie, is here. We've got 2 children now. We've got Cannon, he's 6, Sage is 3, and Waco is home to us. So we are proud to be here.
Love it. Perfect. Eddie?
Yeah, so I've got my wife here, Cassidy. We've also got our 7-month over there. He's in my mother-in-law, Maggie's hands. And then we've got my son, Pierce. He's 3. He's somewhere back there in a green shirt. And then my daughter, Tenley, right here. She's 5. But I've also got my mother-in-law and father-in-law here, Joe and Maggie, and Ashley is my sister-in-law. Got a whole bunch of people. So Walker and Amelia. So really, excited to celebrate this week and just thankful for this.
Very cool. All right, very good. Levi?
Yeah, excited to be here. Also, here with my wife, Des. We got married year and a half ago in Denver, met in Denver, and recently moved to the Colony just north of Dallas. And excited to show her kind of Waco and Baylor and have her be a part of this moment as well.
Very cool. Spencer?
So, echo what everyone else said. Thank you guys for having us so much. I'm here with my fiance, Catherine, and then my parents will be here later this evening, and my brother still lives in Waco with his wife and 2 kids. So Waco, it's home for a lot of good reasons. So we're back all the time, but happy to be here this weekend.
Very cool. All right, you guys are great. And fun. It really is fun to see your families and your growing families and everything. Their fiance also, right, Spencer? So
yeah, December, late December.
In December.
Yeah.
A little over a month away.
I haven't gotten an invite. Where's the invite?
It's in the mail? Look, the Postal Service is...
Lost it?
Sorry I brought that up. All right. All right, 2013, 2014, the best back-to-back seasons in Baylor football history. 2 11-win seasons, back-to-back Big 12 championships. Clay, I'm going to start with you. You're closest. Going into 2013, you guys were picked 5th, I think, in the Big 12 preseason poll, coming off 3 straight bowl games. 10, 11, and 12 were bowl games, so pretty good momentum. The Holiday Bowl win, and what were the feelings like inside the team going into 2013?
I think coming off that UCLA win in San Diego, I think we dominated that game, completely destroyed them. So coming in, I think there was a shift in mindset from a sense of we're pretty darn good, and we believe it. And we're willing to match you man for man across the ball on the offensive side, defensive side, special teams. So I think the mindset shifted to where we're no longer competing. We're going to beat you.
Eddie, a lot of confidence for the team going into 13?
Yeah, and I'd go back to the Kansas State game. Obviously, beating the #1 team in the country was a big deal. I always come back to that, and I feel like that was like the pivotal moment for us as a defense. You know, I think our offense has kind of always had it together, at least during those years, and we were still just not clicking up till that point. And for whatever reason, we just had all this confidence going into play the number one team in the country. And you know, people think that, or people definitely thought we were crazy for thinking we were confident that we were going to go in there and beat them, and we very well did. And I think from then on, it just carried over to the next week, and it just, you know, and we finish out the year at that Holiday Bowl, and guys are just confident going into the off season, and just excited because we know we could run the show. And you know, that was probably, you know, the most pivotal moment for us as a defense, you know, in those years.
Levi, there was a lot of confidence, right, on the team overall. Some would say pretty good swagger by you guys going into 13.
Yeah, going into 13, we had built that confidence, and then we're just able to play loose, really. Everyone knew their alignment, their assignment, their technique, and then it was just going out and playing, and that's what we were able to do in 13, carry that into 14, and beyond that.
So, Spencer, 13 starts. I printed this out to make sure I got it right. First game, Wofford, 69-3. Second game, Buffalo, 70-13. Third game, Louisiana Monroe, 70-7. Conference opener, West Virginia, 73-42. Safe to say the offense was in high gear right from the start of the season, right?
Very much true. I actually don't remember playing in half of those games because I didn't. It was always fun. When we're up that early, you get a lot of young guys who get to play, which help later in the season, right? Because inevitably injuries happen, right? Somebody's going to twist an ankle and be down. But with the roster that we had and the depth that we had and the confidence that we had, because those guys got to play early, it helped just that momentum continue through the season.
So you're rolling along there. The offense is doing its part, and the defense, Eddie. Let's say this: Baylor didn't win a championship until Phil Bennett was here, and Phil Bennett and the defense. I mean, it was complementary football. Defense was certainly doing its part.
Yeah, and I think not to keep coming back to that Kansas State game, but again, I mean, I think. And you know, we've got guys like Sam Hall. I can see sitting over here. You know, I think we just started to click, and things started to go in that direction that we needed it to go. We understood that we had, I think we had the number one offense in the country, and so we not that we're shooting for the floor by saying, hey, we need to make one more stop than the other team, but we knew that we just needed to you know, put the pieces together, and in that 2013 year, I think you're able to see that defense show up. Coach Bennett really had us dialed in with blitzes and you know, our coverages. He really liked to bring the pressure, and I think we really just finally figured things out. You know, we weren't making those little errors that just consistently happened on first down, second down, and then letting the offense convert on third downs. It was we finally stepped up, and it took a lot of work, and things finally clicked. But it was good to have that complimentary football and to show up, especially with our offense being as good as they were.
Levi, what would you say, what was the attitude of the offense, or what was the mindset for you guys? I mean, it was a point a minute, you know, averaging more than a point a minute.
Yeah, I think we were very disappointed. Like, field goals are great, but
No, they're not. Sorry, Chris.
But our goal was to score every single time we had the ball, every drive, but every play it was, all right, like, someone's going to score on this play. And when you have that mindset, it seemed like 9 times out of 10, someone was scoring on this play. And so it was super fun to be in that offense, to know have 40 catches as the 4th or 5th leading receiver and be able to score a lot of touchdowns. And we all had that confidence.
We were talking in the group text this week, kind of like a word that you remember about the team. One thing that stuck out, I can't remember who said it, but it might have been Brody. But he was like, you know, Bryles had the 3 Fs, fast, fearless, and physical.
Spelled with an F.
But that we played really fast, and we were fearless. Like we wanted to score on every single play, and And then I'd say the defensive side brought the physicality because offensive receivers weren't that physical. Yeah.
I don't know how much the defense loved how fast we scored, though. Yeah. I remember a couple times they're like,
Man,
again,
let's
really?
just say, even in the coldest of games, I was getting IVs at halftime. So,
Me too.
It was fast, and Clay, you told me about, what was the DC series that you guys had?
Was it DC series?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
DC,
so-
tell everybody about that.
So it was offensive scheme, and historically Bryles was very simplistic in the way he went about it. But DC series was a series of plays that we ran, and the purpose behind it was to get our fastest wide receivers to run at the worst corner as fast as we could do it. So the purpose was 2 wide receivers would run at that same corner, and then we'd get the next group of wide receivers to run at that same corner. And then on third down, you better believe our wide receivers are going to run by that cornerback.
Yeah, and at that point, the corner either had to run all the way back to cover the outside receiver or was 30 yards down the field, and so we just throw the ball to that wide receiver off the line, and it would be a 20, 30-yard game.
30-yard game. And I remember Bryles, he would always say, the method behind it was, you've never heard a player tell his coach, "Coach, put me in, I'm tired." So that's how it came about, and it worked.
I think a great showing of that was at Norman, that play or that drive coming out of halftime. We're just, 5-yard stop, 5-yard stop, 5-yard stop on the edge, and then have a run, and then Corey would go down the sideline. Right?
I'll never forget Stoops' brother. He was the defensive coordinator, and then they were yelling at each other, brother to brother, on the other sidelines, and it was like, this is the best thing ever.
And the whole stadium was booing.
Yeah,
Oklahoma was booing Oklahoma. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was those short hitch routes or something to the sideline, and the OU fans in Norman were booing, like, can't you stop this? And they're saying, no, we can't stop this.
Well, and then the receiver coach, the cornerback coach was telling the corner to press up on whatever receiver was out there, whether it was Corey, whether it was KD, whoever, and he was like, no, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to get torched down the sideline and they're going to go score a touchdown. Well, finally, after the 5th play of running that little 5-yard hitch, he finally pressed up, and sure enough, we ran deep on him and scored. And he just looked at the coach and was like, I told you. I told you. And it was just a funny little series there.
There's the swagger. There's where that swagger comes from when you can run plays like that. You talk about Oklahoma. That was the game in Norman, but how about the game in Waco at Floyd KC 2013 against OU? Do y'all remember that? It was a Thursday night game. It was a blackout game, yes. Or maybe, did we call it everyone
I think it
in
was
black?
blackout.
That was a blackout?
I think that one
Okay.
was blackout, and then they changed it.
I don't remember the wording. One was everyone in black.
everyone
but,
black, yeah.
But it was a blackout, and was that I think that was the first blackout that we had, that you guys had, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Clay, that first game? I mean, that Thursday night game?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was the first one, but I know it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is that when did they take the tarp off?
Yeah,
That
they
game?
we took the tarp off.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
I think that was that was the first blackout. I mean, we wore the black jerseys once, I think.
Kansas
previously.
State.
But we didn't do a
we
we didn't do a blackout until then. So first blackout, that night was just electric. I'd never seen a stadium like that. I mean, Baylor, the Baylor fans really just showed up, and a lot of great memories from that game, and just a memory that I for sure will have forever. Just that night and how loud the crowd was, and there's no better way to put it than just it was electric. So.
Was that black pants, black jerseys, chrome helmets?
No,
It was
No,
not
I
the
think
chrome
we
I
went
think that
black
was the
helmet.
all
Yeah.
black helmet.
Oh, black
too.
helmets.
Black
Okay.
helmets. Yeah.
When did the chrome helmets appear?
We wore them early, but I,
I
think
thought we
was
wore
it
them to West Virginia when we dominated. We
Virginia.
beat West Virginia.
Yes.
We had gold, black.
Gold, black, black. was
That's
that
it.
one,
That's
yeah.
it. West Virginia. You're right. But the blackout was so cool, and it was so well received by the fans. You're right. Everybody loved that. We do have a blackout tomorrow night against TCU, so we're hoping for the same results there. You guys rocking along through that season. You got a chance for a Big 12 championship. Play Texas at Floyd Casey Stadium. Last game of the regular season, December 7th, 2013. Oklahoma is there with Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State lost earlier in the day. So you know, and Texas knows too, the winner of that game is going to be the Big 12 champion. What do you guys remember going into that game?
It was cold.
It was cold.
That and the uniforms. Those are my favorite uniforms that we ever wore.
Yeah.
The
The throwbacks.
Those were awesome. Yeah.
I remember being in the tunnel, and I think I was telling you this the other day, but being in the tunnel, and it was senior day, you know, they're calling us out, and I'm standing right there next to Coach Briles, and we hear somebody shout from the crowd, because I think it happened right around that moment. And he shouts down, and he's like, who needed to win? Was it Oklahoma needed to beat Oklahoma State? Oklahoma won, Oklahoma won. And I just remember Coach Briles looking back, and he's like, let's go win us a Big 12 championship. Wow. And then it was like something out of a movie, because then they called my name right after that and ran out onto the field. But you know, for that to happen just right there in that moment was pretty cool. But I was shivering in the tunnel. So
I was toasty. I was in a nice jacket. I was hurt that
I'm
game.
happy for you.
Yeah, you were.
So I was, you know, hoodie. I had plenty of layers. It was great.
You probably had hand
Standing by
warmers.
the heaters.
and,
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Foot warmers and all that stuff, right? It was 24 degrees at kickoff. Who was at that game? Final game at Floyd Casey Stadium. Most of us in the room were there. 24 degrees, wind chill at 12. Coldest game in Floyd Casey history. And how about everything wrapped up into it? It is movie-like, you know, to think about the temperature, the atmosphere, last game, 64-year history of Floyd Casey Stadium. Winner is the Big 12 champs. Turn out the lights, last game at Floyd Casey.
That was cool.
How about all of that wrapped up into one game?
Yeah.
And we're playing Texas.
And Texas, yeah. They didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
They didn't have a chance that day. But you like the throwback uniforms.
I loved them.
Yeah.
I love them. The helmets, the pants, all of it.
They're around here. I mean, in town. If Jim Sarton's here, I want mine back. Because I
For a
know it's in
price,
his
I'm
office
sure.
somewhere.
Very cool. So you won that game and clinched the Big 12 championship. Did it was so cold, but it's almost like with everything going on, I'm not going to miss that. Fans aren't going to miss that, right? It didn't keep people away.
Oh, man.
A lot of camo out there, I
Yeah, there was
noticed.
a lot of camo.
Yeah, no one left. And I feel like after the game, since it was the last game, there may have been some stuff taken out of that locker room that some of us still have as
I don't know what you're talking
memorabilia
about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's very
that
fair.
some of us don't have.
Okay, we're past 7 years. What did you take from the locker room? No
The benches
repercussions.
in the locker room.
The benches.
The little
Yeah.
stools.
At the stools.
That's
Stools.
a pretty bold
I
thing
feel like
to
everyone.
take.
You don't have one?
I don't have a bench. Can I have one?
That's too bad.
That's too bad.
Nope. I think some people were, because it was obviously the last game of Floyd Casey. I do remember looking around and seeing fans like cutting turf out of the field. And I was like, do I have a piece? Maybe. I didn't cut any. Can't get in there. It wasn't me. But little stools. We had little BU stools in front of all the lockers that we sat on and got ready, and a lot of those went missing.
There was like some 3D letters on the wall. It just had Baylor Bears, and I got the B, and then it had most everybody on the team sign it. So I like that part. But yeah, Levi just gave us up for all that. So
I wasn't
past
ripping stuff off the
70%.
wall.
The statue, it's passed.
yeah, that's true. We're good.
I just took the stool that you would sit in every game and prepare, get your mind right before the game, so I still have that stool.
Very fair. No repercussions whatsoever. So Big 12 champs 2013, Fiesta Bowl, BCS Bowl, results notwithstanding. What a great experience for you guys, to go to Tempe and Scottsdale.
Bortles, right? Was a quarterback?
Yeah, Blake
UCF,
Bortles.
Blake
Yeah.
Bortles.
They were ready to play, weren't they?
Yeah.
UCF.
Yes.
Can we go to the next question?
Yeah, let's move on. We can hit the high points today.
We had a lot of fun that week.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun that week for sure.
Did you have too much fun?
Debatable. Depends on who you ask. I wasn't
asking you.
playing. Like I said, I had a great time.
you weren't playing, yeah.
It was fine.
So you had fun.
I'll tell you a quick story. So I was actually older. So I was 20, babe, how was it? 25 at that time? 26 at that time, probably. And I had spent a lot of time in Arizona, and one of my former baseball players was named Gordy Gronkowski. And he had a couple brothers that ended up playing the NFL for a long time. But when we played together in the Angels organization, he was like, my brother's going to be football players are going to be great, and we all kind of blew off Gordy. But whenever we were in Arizona, obviously Gronk with the Patriots had done a lot of big things. So that weekend, I reached out to Gordy, and we did go to Scottsdale with Gronk and Gordy in Scottsdale. So it wasn't the day before the game, though. So we were there for a week, but we did have fun when we were out there.
Gotcha. All right. But you got there and you won 11 games that year. First time Baylor had ever won 11 games in a season. So going into 2014, we lose some of you guys. Eddie, you're gone. You're out. Sorry. But you guys are back for 2014. Same question as I started with. What do you remember, Levi? What were the expectations for you guys going into 2014?
I think it was bigger than that. It was, we've done this once, and now goals are higher, and goal is getting to the BCS championship and all that. And obviously those things didn't happen, but ending up winning the Big 12 again was a good concession to that, for sure.
And we closed Floyd Casey Stadium, and you guys got to be a part of that, and you opened McLean Stadium. Spencer, what was that like to be on the first team that played in McLean Stadium?
It was really cool. I remember, so the old practice facility, I think, still there, right? Hires Simpson Athletic Complex. But we walked across the pedestrian bridge for the first time and did a scrimmage. So the first game, obviously, the first time we played wasn't on the game day, and just walking over the bridge, kind of cresting it, and then seeing the stadium in its, brand spanking new glory was just a really surreal experience that, it's like, oh, wow, like we helped put this and build this and put it together, and it was just a really, really cool thing to see and be a part of. Thank you.
Yeah, during the construction process of all that, I was interning for Heath and David Kay, and they had me, once a week I would go just take still shot pictures of the stadium so they could clip it together at one point to kind of do a time lapse. And taking those pictures, I got to see each week the progress that was happening, and it was awesome to see it go up in what seemed like pretty quickly.
It's just incredible. You just don't see new football stadiums getting built across the country. So to be a part of it was special.
Well, especially because we got to sit every day at practice. We just sit there and watch them build it. So it's like, when are we going to get in it? When are we going to get in it? And then finally we did. And it was, like I said, it was really fun. And all the fans who came out that opening day made that a really special game as well.
Man, that's terrific. And think about it. I mean, you guys, these teams, 13, 14, sorry, Eddie, but these teams closed down Floyd Casey, a kind of a lifetime achievement, and open a new stadium, McLean Stadium. Gosh, that's, that may not ever happen again with a couple of teams back to back. What a great experience.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we can say it better than you did.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say it better than
Terrific for you. Beat SMU 45-0, first game ever at McLean Stadium. Beat Northwestern State 70-6. Buffalo 63-21. So you're rolling. You win over Iowa State. Went over Texas on the road. Here comes TCU to Waco. October 11th, 2014. You guys are rolling. I think you're number 6 in the nation. TCU's number 9 in the nation. Huge buildup. What do you remember, Clay, going into that game, Baylor and TCU?
Incredible matchup. Great defense. Patterson has a great defense. And obviously our offense, we were ready. We were ready to go. Slower start though, right, guys?
Took us a while.
Yeah,
took us a little bit to warm up. That's okay.
Yeah, I think too, going into, Iowa State in that game, a lot of us were hurt, like skill position. I know Bryce didn't play, first 3 or 4 games. I got hurt in SMU. Clay, you weren't playing to start the season. Antoine wasn't playing. Yeah. So talk about in, 2013, where a lot of young guys got to play early because of how much we were winning by. A lot of those scores in the beginning of the year were all young guys getting experience and helping us throughout the year after that, and being able to step in when someone got tired or got hurt. But that was kind of forced on them. So that helped a lot going into TCU too, I think.
Yep.
Bryce Petty playing great at quarterback, but he had threw a pick six, and TCU leads Baylor 58-37 with 11:37 to play in the game. And you're down big. You're down 21 points. And what happened from that point to the end of the game is almost mind-blowing. The way y'all scored so fast and got the ball back and scored again and did it again, all of a sudden it's a game. That was that blitz that you guys had offensively to get back in the game. What do you remember about that?
I remember a very helpful pass interference call.
There was one of those, yes.
I think we had a return, kick return as well somewhere in there. That helped, right? Punt return? Maybe? Somewhere in the game, right?
Take it, Levi. Yeah,
I don't
sure.
remember. Was there a punt return that helped us?
So I do remember going in the fourth quarter, right? We had our strength staff did a great job. Shout out Coach Roof in the back. Did a great job of preparing us for that situation, right? Do your job, control what you can control. That was kind of our mantra going into really all of it, right? If you do your job and control what you can control, things will usually happen the way you want them to happen, right? If something happens that like defense gives up a big third down, offense can't really control that, so just focus on what your responsibility is and go from there. That was what Coach Kaz and the entire strength staff were saying the entire time, fourth quarter, right? Control what you can control, do your job. Control what you can control, do your job, and, we got a break, right? We scored really quick. Wonderful. All right, defense, go out there and do your job. Control what you can control. They get a stop. We get the ball back. Same thing, score quick. I think we had the ball for a total of 2.5 minutes and scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. The rest of it was on TCU. So, right, we just kind of knew that as long as we did what we did, it was going to be a good time for us, and it turned out really well.
Get it tied, 58-58, get in position for a field goal. Young Chris Callahan, who is here. There he is, Chris Callahan. As a freshman, right? Your freshman year. Call on the freshman Chris Callahan, and he nailed that field goal. And Baylor wins 61-58 over TCU. What a great memory. What a great memory. There were some big wins before that game, but that one sort of, to me, christened McLean Stadium. Like, yeah, this is our place. You're not coming in here, especially TCU. You're not coming in here and winning.
And then wasn't there that famous sign, "We are going to win"? They flashed by, and that's
yeah.
So
that's when that started, maybe. Yeah, great win.
I do want to clear something up after.
Okay.
So I'm sure a lot of you have seen the picture of the team the year after, the 61-58.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
and Jarrell Broxton, number 61, I'm 58. We're sitting next to each other. To my knowledge, completely unplanned. We had an angry guy, and all the people can attest to this, right? Ops. We had an angry. He sounded British when he yelled. He wasn't British, but he was yelling at us. We lined up height by class. It was senior year. Tallest to shortest, and he'd just start throwing people any which way. So, to my knowledge, it was completely coincidental that Jarrell was the third tallest person. I was the tallest at the time. No, I wasn't. Laquan was, but he was somewhere else. But yeah, completely incidental, not a thing that
Come on,
we
it's
planned.
been 10 years. You can tell us the truth there about
Look,
that.
talk to these guys up front. It was
Okay.
not. We had no plan on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I
Eddie,
just
was
want
it
to.
you that had the receipt? Was that you?
Yes, it was. Yeah, we actually found out our waitress at a restaurant in Fort Worth was a TCU grad, and so our tip was 61.58. So, little pity.
What a great memory. Let's do it again tomorrow with a little more cushion against TCU. So you continue on through your schedule, although the next week, a little bit of a hiccup. Was there a bit of hangover after the TCU game? You lost to West Virginia the next week.
West Virginia was a really tough place to play.
Yeah.
The time changed, the long flight. We usually played early. It was different. They ran on defense. They ran a defense that we really didn't see that often. 3-3 stacks, so 3 down linemen with 3 linebackers stacked behind them, and then 4 defensive 4 or 5 defensive backs, if I can count to 11. But they did everything they could to take away the run with the 6 guys they had, and then the other 5, they could double, our best receivers and things like that. So we didn't have that much success running the ball. We called it like a rugby scrum. We have some Australian people here that tell you what rugby is and kind of explain that. But it was a tough place to run. So yeah, we just never really played well there.
Yeah, the environment there is different. Like you said, playing in the morning where it felt like we were an hour behind them. And so it's a lot earlier than we normally play. And then I remember getting hit in the head with a AA battery because the student section was right behind us. And so just a different environment. And luckily I had some cushion at the time, staying on the sideline with all the hair that I had. But look down, AA battery, and turn around. Fans are pointing at some kid that's launching stuff at us on the field.
I like your description. You had some cushion with that hair you had. Yeah, that's good. You really did. So lost to West Virginia, but bounced back. Beat Kansas, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Kansas State comes to Waco. Last game of the regular season. Again, sort of a de facto Big 12 championship game. That game, and I think ESPN's College Game Day was here. What do you remember leading into that big game against Kansas State?
Help me, guys. I don't
Nothing,
remember that
nobody? Okay.
I mean, again, do your job and control what you can control. It was at that point, not that we expected to win, but we had that swagger about us that, all right, if we play the way we know we can play and have played in the past, we're going to be fine. We're going to go on there and do what we need to do to get another Big 12 championship, and ended up doing that.
38-27, second straight Big 12 championship. Beat K-State, and Baylor is back-to-back Big 12 champions. Terrific. Where would you guys say that swagger came from? Obviously, there was the offense, the point-a-minute offense. The defense was doing its part. You were winning big, you were winning a lot. Where would you say that swagger came from?
I think a lot of that came from Coach Kaz, Coach Briles, and how they allowed us to be ourselves on the field. They didn't try and dictate too much of this is who we are and this is who you have to be. They allowed us each to kind of play how we played, which gave us that confidence, that swagger that you're talking about.
I think the other thing is the preparation, right? We practiced so fast in practice that the games were slow to us. Now, we were snapping the ball, averaging every 13 seconds, we were snapping the ball, and that was slow for us. And so just because of the way we practiced, games were easy. And for us anyway, I mean, the defense made different, especially the other team's defense. They hated it. But it just our preparation going in and our mentality of, okay, we got this.
I think a lot of confidence, too, just came from, obviously, Coach Kaz and his staff. I know Coach Roof is here. And I think of a story just to kind of tell you the commitment that they had with us and wanting to get the best out of us. And I remember, and I'm sure you guys will remember this, too, but there was one morning, we were working out. I don't know if it was summer or if it was in season, but it was 6 a.m. We get to the indoor. We always line up like where the garage door on the side was. And then we would run down to the end of the field and come back to, get ready for, our warm-ups. And we ran down and ran back, and Coach Kaz sent us back to the locker room. And he said, don't just go back to the locker room. Take your shoes off, take your socks off, get like undressed, and start completely over. And so he went as far as like making us do that. And we showed up a little bit different once we got back to that garage door. But I think that just kind of shows you the commitment level that our staff in total had with us. And, that it's hard not to have confidence when, you've got the best strength and conditioning coach, we felt at the time. And it just gave us a lot of confidence, a lot of swagger. And then Coach Briles, he always had his sayings, let that dog hunt, is one of them. I'm sure you guys could say plenty of them. But I think a lot of it, had to do with those guys for sure.
Speaking of the indoor, the garage doors, it always seemed like to me that the offense was inside a lot more than the defense was.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Why? Yeah, come on now.
It's offensive.
It's sort of like my wife's car. She parks in the garage. Yeah. I park on the driveway.
Right?
Right? Do you remember it that way too?
Yeah, I agree with you.
The
yeah, we always
Ferrari
wondered.
is indoors. The Jeep is outside.
Yeah, with a lot of mud on it.
Yeah. Do I remember that right, Spencer? Yeah.
No, that was, hey, I didn't notice. I just knew, all right, I'll go this play, this period.
He was doing his
now I go
job,
inside.
right?
He's doing his job.
The specialists were inside the entire practice.
Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But I mean, hey, it was 125 degrees and we were running a play, every 10 seconds. It got tiring. We needed a break, some AC. Sorry, Eddie.
Man. AC.
Okay, I do remember it correctly then. How about Cotton Bowl? Great accomplishment. You advanced to the Cotton Bowl representing the Big 12. Unfortunately, you're not in the college football playoff. You're right there. You should have been in the Big 12. Elected not to push one school over another, even though Baylor had beaten TCU. Those are just the facts. And lo and behold, you finished number 5 in the CFP rankings. Ohio State finished number 4. They went on to win the national championship. Were you guys hot about that, the way it turned out?
One true champion?
Yeah,
Question
one
mark?
true champion. We had 2.
But that was the Big 12's new slogan that year was one true champion, and then they didn't designate one true champion. Anyway.
Yeah. It was technically co-champs, but Baylor beat TCU, and that should have been a deciding factor. But, so you're not in the college football playoff, disappointing, but you go to the Cotton Bowl, which is a great bowl, so much history. Going back to Southwest Conference days, the Cotton Bowl was the goal every year, to win the Southwest Conference and go to the Cotton Bowl. How was that experience, minus the final score?
It was a lot of fun. It's another big bowl game that we got to go to, and being so close to home, we know we'd have a really big turnout by all the fans, and they did show out, right? It was a great environment to play in. We've played in that stadium at that point 5 times before because we always played Texas Tech there. So it kind of felt like a home game because it kind of was for us. Unfortunately, the score wasn't what we wanted, but the team played, really, really well. We put up huge numbers that game. I think we threw for 650 yards that game. So it was a lot of fun playing, but they had us staying out in Grapevine for some reason. I guess farthest away from downtown Arlington they could get us for some strange reason after what happened in Scottsdale.
And the opponent we were playing with made it more exciting too. Like playing Michigan State, playing a Big Ten team that is traditional football school made us prepare a little differently probably than we did the year before for UCF. And so the game was much better. The outcome wasn't any better, but the being there and being excited for it was all there the same.
Tremendous accomplishment to get to the Cotton Bowl back-to-back New Year's Six Day bowls with the Fiesta Bowl and then the Cotton Bowl. All right, for you guys, as we start to wrap things up, you got a lot of your teammates here. What are you, Clay, we'll start with you. What are you most looking forward to this weekend? Getting everybody back together. How often have you guys been back together?
Some guys that you haven't seen, I'm looking forward to seeing those guys that you haven't seen in a long time. There's a core group of guys that we talk to. Probably everyone has their groups, but I'm looking forward to the guys that you haven't seen in 10 years. Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You can do that. Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah.
We'll take direction from Sammy. What about, what are you most looking forward to?
I think just, especially being down on the field, I think it'll be just, it'll just be surreal to be back down there with all of our teammates again, and then getting to see the coaches earlier, at George's, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited about playing some golf tomorrow with about 20 guys. So all 4 of us are going to be out there actually. So yeah, just catching up, telling old stories, and just celebrating and having that reunion.
Yeah, we'll be running the Baylor line, a lot of us for the first time. And so that'll be an awesome experience.
Full speed.
Yeah, some of us will be running full speed, and some
Stretching.
of us definitely will not
Stretch,
be.
yeah, stretch ahead of time. Do they give y'all, are you in the front of the pack?
Good
We don't
question.
know. Yeah.
Good question.
we'll
We
be
have no idea.
Get them to give you
Javon?
like a 20 or 30 yard head
We're in the
start.
front, Javon
front.
They
said.
in the front?
All right, we're in the front.
Javon?
Woohoo!
Clarified that.
Good call. That's a good call. That'll be really fun.
Just to kind of echo what everyone else said, right? Seeing guys you haven't seen in, 9, 10 years or rarely see that you spent so much time with, right? It's going to be a lot of fun, and running the Baylor line will be a really cool experience because we never got line jerseys, we never got to do that because, technically we ran it every week because we were running through them, but like running the other way down the field, we never got to do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you guys are great, and it is fun to be able to celebrate you and your teammates and your coaching staff that won back-to-back Big 12 championships, 11 wins back-to-back. Everybody, again, that's on that team, stand up. Let us give you a rousing round of applause. Stand up. Terrific. All right. Welcome back. We're glad you're here. Enjoy the weekend. We want you to come back often, but enjoy this weekend having everybody back. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
you.
Thank you
Spencer,
so much.
Levi, Clay, and Eddie, thank you very much.